So a little bit over 3 years ago, I picked up an Apple Studio display, and very shortly after that, I bought a second one. I'll get to the reasons why later in this video. But guys, I have literally done everything you could think of with these monitors. I have used them for video editing. I have used them for professional photography editing. I've used them to watch movies. I have used them for my day-to-day work. I've used them for gaming. I've used them for everything. And I've used them pretty much every single day for literally the last 3 years. So I wanted to make a video and give you guys my honest review and if I still think that these things are worth buying in 2025. The short answer is probably not, but there are a few people that maybe it still makes sense for. So without wasting too much time, let's jump right into it. So section 1 is going to be the price. Guys, this monitor is not a cheap monitor, and when you stack up what this thing offers compared to all the other monitors on the market, you're realistically losing in terms of stats. The price has not gotten any better. Apple still has it up on their website for $1,600, and it's only going to go up from there depending on if you want to purchase it with a stand, or depending on if you want to purchase this thing with nano texture glass or an extra stand or a swivel stand. It's just a lot of money for a 24-inch monitor. Now, giving you my perspective, I did look at other monitors on the market, but because I am so deep in the Apple ecosystem, I really didn't want to venture off into buying something that wasn't Apple. And I kind of don't regret my decision, but if I could go back in time, I would definitely probably consider other options. But yeah, guys, this thing doesn't win on price, so let's just move on to the next section. So section number 2 is going to be the stats of this monitor and the actual display quality. So this thing is actually a 5K monitor, so it does have a 5K resolution, and it is insanely sharp. You're not going to be complaining by the sharpness on this monitor. Like literally, it's to a point now where I look at a regular monitor and it just doesn't do it for me. Like it ruins it for me. I have to use a monitor that's at least 5K, and once you get used to it, you get kind of stuck in your ways, shall we say. Next is going to be the color accuracy. Color accuracy is extremely important for me, and it doesn't necessarily need to be the most accurate and perfect color accuracy on the market, but it does need to look similar to my iPhone and similar to my MacBook Pro. And since this pretty much has the same color profiles, the same Retina display, they literally look like my iPad, MacBook Pro, iPhone, and MacBook Air. So in terms of it all connecting with each other and having an identical look, that's going to be a huge plus, and pretty much what justified me in buying this monitor in the first place. Moving into the brightness, guys, this thing is only 600 nits. I'm not super deep into the tech side of all this, but what I will say is that for general use, 600 nits should be good. If you're going to be taking this thing out into a sunny area, or your room that you're going to have it in, there's going to be a lot of sunlight, might not be bright enough. You definitely would want to look at some others on the market, but yeah, 600 nits is pretty standard comparing it to the wider field of other monitors on the market. Moving into the contrast. So guys, this monitor only has a contrast ratio of 1000 to 1, which again is good, but it's not as good as a lot of the other ones at this price point. To give you an idea, a lot of other monitors on the market might have 1200 to 1, and there's even a few that have 2000 to 1, to put things into perspective on the contrast side of things. And then the last important aspect is going to be the refresh rate, which is only going to be 60 hertz. Now, as long as you're not gaming or doing anything where you need extremely quick refresh rates, 60 hertz should be enough. It's enough for me. But again, comparing this to other monitors on the market, it's definitely lacking, and it would have been nice to see 120 hertz on this monitor. So yeah, to sum up these specs, what it's got going for it is going to be the resolution and the color accuracy in terms of it really just matching up other Apple devices, but everything else, it's good enough for you to feel good using it, but you're not going to get the best for your money in terms of the specifications. So there's something to keep in mind. Moving into section 3, we're going to be talking about the build quality and the design and the look of the monitor. So guys, I absolutely love Apple products. I think they do an amazing job of just making a luxury product, really, in terms of the design, the look, the build quality. I've just always loved Apple. I've been a fan of Apple, and they definitely didn't lack this in terms of their Apple Studio displays. I mean, guys, it looks beautiful. The titanium on the back just, I mean, fits in with all of your other Apple products and its ecosystem. And guys, it's an Apple product, so it just looks beautiful sitting on your desk. And I pretty much failed to admit this earlier on in my purchase decision with this computer monitor, but it's probably the main reason why I decided to spend the extra money was for the look. And I know that's so stupid to say this, but that is the reality and why I pretty much swung my decision on buying this monitor. So the last thing I wanted to touch base in terms of the design and build quality is the mounting options. You guys have a few different mounting options with this monitor. I personally chose the VESA mount option. Since I already had a monitor that had the VESA mount option, I was able to just swap this out. And I do prefer this option over just having a stand because you can pretty much swivel the screen wherever you want. I even have my second monitor swiveled vertical, which is something that's a little bit more difficult to do when you just buy the regular stand. So yeah, just something to keep in mind, something I wanted to throw out there. Okay, so now let's move into the next section, which is going to be the port. So guys, this monitor only has USBC ports. There's no HDMI port. So you basically don't really want to buy this monitor if you don't already have a Mac. It just doesn't make sense. Having the 4 USB-C ports is nice, especially for me because I do have a Mac and pretty much everything that I need to plug into it nowadays is USB-C, and of course you can buy dongles and whatnot. It's also worth noting that the main USB-C output on the back of the monitor does provide a power supply, so you can plug this thing into your MacBook Pro and charge it, so you don't need to also plug in your computers or laptops into an outlet or a charger. You can literally just connect it to the studio display and you will have power, which again is another good plus for Mac users. Again, guys, it is a downside if you do have other computers or you're looking to plug this thing up to like a PlayStation 5 or something like that. But I don't think you're probably watching this video if that's what your intentions are. Which leads me into the next section, which are the speakers. Guys, the speakers on this thing are actually very, very good. Apple has always done a pretty good job of putting good speakers in their computers, MacBook Pros, and now their studio displays. I do typically work with headphones on, especially when it comes to video editing and even, taking Zoom calls. I just prefer having headphones in, so speakers were never a huge selling point for me on an external monitor, but it is definitely a plus. I don't feel like I need to buy external speaker monitors, so definitely factor that in when making the purchase decision on this monitor. So before I get into the conclusion, I want to go over a section which is pretty much just my experience using these monitors. So guys, I have not had a lot of experience using a lot of other high-end monitors that are on the market, especially to a daily use like I've used these things. But honestly, I've had no complaints. I absolutely love the look of the monitors. I love that I can be editing on my laptop at a coffee shop, then come directly back here, plug in my laptop to the monitor and have the exact same look in terms of color, have really, really good sharpness and a matching image to my laptop. And also know that when I export a video or export a photo and send it to my iPhone, send it to my iPad, the colors pretty much look identical. And I also really do love the fact that this thing just looks freaking amazing on my setup at home. It's always been my hobby to have a great at-home setup, since this is where I legitimately do spend a majority of my time. So for me, spending the money was okay because I know that I'll be using these monitors probably for the next 3 or 4 years and potentially even significantly longer, because I don't see 8K taking over and 5K being insufficient over the next 3-4 years. But yeah, to summarize up my experience, guys, I've actually had an absolutely great experience using these monitors, editing videos, editing photos, even playing on my PS5 from time to time. And I have no complaints. I love the monitor. However, moving into the last section, do I think it is still worth it? I have to say it's probably not going to be worth it in terms of price point, comparing this thing to a bunch of other monitors that are on the market. If you are not 100% integrated into the Apple ecosystem and you're not a professional video editor, creator, or in that creative industry, there's really no need to spend pretty much double the amount to have the Apple monitor compared to some of the other comparable monitors on the market that legitimately offer you the exact same specifications. So really the only reason you should buy this monitor is if you just are okay with spending the extra money because you want a luxury looking monitor that pretty much works very, very well with all of your other Apple products. Other than that, I don't think it makes sense. So hopefully this allows you guys to either make the decision on not pulling the trigger, because I'm literally telling you, and based on all of the other review videos that you've watched on YouTube, they all pretty much say the same thing. It's not the best specs for your money, but it still might make sense if you want the cool looking monitor and you want to spend the extra money and you just love Apple products. But it's not necessary, guys. Maybe you're better off saving the money, using it to buy something else like a camera or something else for your computer setup. I don't know, but hopefully this video helped you with your purchasing decision. That's my honest take after 3 years. And let me know down in the comments below if you guys would buy the Apple Studio display. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, guys, peace out.